This week on This Too Shall Pass.
Child support and visitation are completely separate. They are not one and the same. You don't want to ever become the gatekeeping parent. Someone can actually not be paying child support and still get visitation rights because they do not overlap. In Florida, because I'm not an attorney and all I know is Florida situations, if the absent parent does not show up to visitation or your time sharing agreement, then that does correlate on how much child support will be paid.
Welcome to the This Too Shall Pass podcast. Trust me, I know life can be. This is an inclusive space for our stories and lessons to be heard and learned from without judgment, because this too shall pass.
Hi, babes. Welcome back to the This Too Shall Pass podcast. My name is Ariel, and something I do in the beginning of all my episodes is ask you, how are you? How have you been? What's new? Anything changing in your life? Work, school, kids, the works? Let me know in the comments below just so that we can continue to build our community, and I will get back to you about where I'm at or what I'm doing. I am live right now on my personal Instagram page, which is _Ariel B, as well as this podcast page, This Too Shall Pass Pod on IG. Right now we are taking live questions. Today's topic is child support. I do have something very special in the works for you guys, and it is coming very soon. As you know, well, maybe you don't know, so let me not say that. My name is Ariel. I am a single mother of 5. I do independently represent myself in court when it comes to child support, visitation, custody, time sharing. It also at one point did involve shared custody. And it did, I want to say that I probably learned the most about child support post-divorce. Andre and Haley were not from my marriage. Andre and Haley are my older 2 children. And yeah, so I learned as much as I could along the way. And that is what is coming soon to you from me. Probably something I needed. The legal system is, I don't want to say it's complicated. It's just very detailed. So you need to know what you're there for, what your outcome is, and what paperwork you need. And I feel like independently as a mom, sometimes we're so overwhelmed with the day-to-day life, school, work, our own emotions, especially. I don't know how you guys react to a breakup, but for me, I would like lay on my couch and not move. So sometimes trying to learn the legal system and how to understand my rights and the rights of my children was very hard at that time when I feel like I was going through a lot personally. So that is my gift to you from me. It is coming soon. I can't say too much more about it right now, but you will know. I am so excited. I feel like it's going to help a lot of you guys, even if it's just information based that is for you or for a friend or for a sister. It'll be very helpful. Family law is not something we talk about often. So unless you are in the legal system to understand your rights, you're not really going to know what's going on or how it applies to you or your family. So yeah, I hope you guys really like my new project that's coming out, but let's jump into it. Usually in the beginning of all of my episodes, I do a Her Voice, Her Story. That is just a segment where I shout out someone, usually female, that is motivational, informational, helpful, positive, shine a little light on her page, her community, to give you guys someone else to lean on besides just me. Because like you guys, I'm always looking for good mom pages or good female pages in general to either learn more, grow from, or show credit to. So since this topic today is about child support, I will be shouting out, my phone is on live, but I'm going to try my best to remember it. I believe it's called Judge Vonda B, and it's on YouTube. She is an African-American woman. She is in the legal system, but I don't want to say exactly what her job is because I might be completely wrong. But when I tell you her page is so informative, she is on YouTube. I'm pretty sure she's on Instagram, but YouTube is where I found her. I used to stay up for hours before my court sessions just trying to figure out how to speak, how to act, what the atmosphere in the courtroom will be like, questions I should ask the judge or the absent parent at the time, and things I should look for. Judge Vonda B page on YouTube was fundamental for me. She teaches you both scenarios. Think of like, you guys remember Judge Judy? It was a TV show, but you couldn't like give your input. So this is like Judge Judy on the Black side on YouTube. When I tell you it is so good, look for her page. Any of my single parents in general, because it's not just for females. If you are a single parent at all and you want to understand where to start, what to do, what the verbiage might be, how to compose yourself, her page is a perfect place. I mean, they acted out exactly how it will be in court. I mean, baby mama, baby daddy's yelling, oh, my kid stayed with me, or the grandma. It's a perfect page. Again, her page is Judge Vonda B, and it's on YouTube. Pretty sure she has other platforms, but again, YouTube is where I found her. Okay, so today's episode, like I've said 100 times now, is about child support. I guess we are going to ask some live questions. That's why both platforms right now are on live. If you have any questions about family court, visitation, and child support, because this is Family Law Matters, I have to say I am not an attorney. I am not an attorney. All I can do is give you my advice, what's worked for me. In the legal system that I'm most fluent with is Florida, because that is where I reside. Florida is a part of the United States, which means a lot of these laws and regulations are fluid. Even if you don't have it in your state, you could Google what's similar to Florida law, blah, 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 for Connecticut. And usually it's just called something else, or it'll tell you that your state doesn't offer it, but this is what they do offer that's similar to Florida law. And also that's what Judge Vonda B's page taught me. She talks about family law and child support, but it's not for Florida. She does it for her state. And I just took her jargon and what she was saying for her state and added, is this a law in Florida? Or how would this work in Florida court family law situations? And it gave me the pages that I needed, what workbooks I needed, what judges I should ask for that are in the judicial system at my Orange County courthouse. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing right now in this session. Everything I'm saying is for Florida. I am not an attorney. I'm just here to be your friend along the way and let you know what's worked for me. So yeah, I'm going to scroll through some of the lives right now and see if there's any upfront questions before I start to tell you kind of how I got to where I am. Also, if you don't want us to say your username, please put that in there because this is family and I don't want to put your business out there. I do it for myself, but not everyone likes it. So the question was, what do you do for, I guess, a custody case with visitation if the father or the absent parent is still missing visits? I guess she's asking, what options does she have? Okay, so in every state, not just Florida, child support and visitation are completely separate. They are not one and the same. So when you get a motion for child support, that is just for child support. And if you get a motion for visitation, that is just for visitation. So I say that to say you don't want to ever become the gatekeeping parent. Gatekeeping means you did not come pick up little Tommy on Saturday, so I'm going to cancel next week. Or you didn't pay your child support, so you can't come pick up our son on Saturday. They're not one and the same. So someone can actually not be paying child support and still get visitation rights because they do not overlap. This person is asking, what does she do if the visitation is not being held up to par? So in Florida, I'm going to keep saying that because I'm not an attorney and all I know is Florida situations that have worked for me. In Florida, if the absent parent does not show up to visitation or your time sharing agreement, then that does correlate on how much child support will be paid. Would file a first contempt of court. Never modify, or modify means change. Never modify your visitation or your time sharing because someone's not coming. Let the judge know first, or let the court system know that the parent is not coming. So to do that, you need to file a motion of contempt. Contempt is basically tattling on the absent parent for not either paying their child support or holding up their end of the agreement for visitation. So I would file contempt of court for failure to comply with a visitation order. Then on the next section, it's going to ask you, what is the absent parent not doing? Then you would write exactly what she told me. Absent parent is not showing up on Tuesdays at 6:00, or absent parent is showing up but bringing my child back a day late, hours early, not on time. So you would write all of the things that are not following in with your order and submit it to the judge. If visitation is not being done at all, in Florida, visitations are only counted. You only get one visitation if the child has stayed overnight. So just because the absent parent was participating in your child's life on Friday, if it does not go from Friday to Saturday, a complete overnight, they do not get what is called in Florida credit or a point. So during the day hours that do not roll over to overnight is basically no visitation. I say that to say, if your absent parent has, I don't know, every other weekend, which is Saturday, Sunday, Sunday to Monday, that's 2, 2, 4. They get 4 credits a month. Those 4 credits are not in your child support because the child is with the other parent. So like she asked, if the parent is not complying with the visitation order, you are actually getting less child support because the court thinks the father, the absent parent, is picking the child up. So I would file contempt of court, let the court know that the absent parent is not keeping your child for the visitation hours. And it's going to ask you, what do you want the repercussions to be for this motion? So you can either ask for increased child support, you can ask for the time to be made up, or you can ask to completely modify your visitation schedule and end visitation completely. And that is in Florida. So usually for me, I ask for the judge to, add on additional visitation. But the difference between not showing up for visitation and not paying child support is completely different. Not paying child support is a criminal or is a civil crime and they can go to jail. The absent parent does not go to jail for not visiting your child. It is messed up. I hear you. It leaves all the work on you, but there is no punishment of jail if the absent parent does not come visit your child. But what you can do is increase your child support or ask the judge to add on additional days to substitute the days of the absent parent missed. And I hope that answered your question.
So she also says that it's not only not coming, he threatens her, saying that he'll call CPS over lies, and they've had domestic violence before. She originally asked for supervised visits, but in Baltimore County, they say they don't have enough staff.
Huh. Okay, staffing, I don't know. That probably could be a true thing. When it comes down to domestic violence, my absent fathers in my situation hate me because I no longer answer the phone. We are a text and email co-parenting relationship because I need things in writing. So when you say things like, oh, domestic violence is an issue and he's threatening you, the courts are going to want to know proof. And I mean, I respect that because if the roles were reversed, I'd hate for someone to be able to say that I was hurting them or doing something to them and there was no proof. So make sure if you know your absent parent well enough, text them, email them, and let them kind of track themselves. Everything in writing should be screenshotted. Make yourself a folder in your email. I used to screenshot threats, screenshot everything, and then email it to yourself. When it emails to yourself, make a drop-down folder and make that folder the name of your absent parent and drop all your proof in there. So when you do have the courage to file or you feel like it is now time to bring it to the judge's attention, you have a folder that is documented with the time, date, to and from, and you can print that out and attach it to your contempt order. Remember, your contempt order is letting the judges know that whatever is agreed upon between your child support or visitation is not happening. And here's your proof and why you would like a change, but you need proof. So I hear a lot from women, oh, he does this or he does that, but it's all hearsay, or he's showing up to your house. Get you a good Ring doorbell, put you a camera outside, do whatever you have to do, but you have to get proof. And once you get proof, the writing is on the wall and it is a lot easier.
But you don't have any, experience with this, but any advice for getting child support from fathers outside the country?
Fathers outside the country? So I'm guessing she's saying the father's already moved. Unless you're from out of the country, or was he just here and then left? I don't know that point. But in Florida, because I'm not an attorney, you can file for child support still, first and last name. You basically give all the information that you do have and that he lives outside of the country. They will do a search that'll check obituaries, military, prisons, and everywhere in the country. And then once they do, I guess, find truth or merit in what you're saying that he's outside of the country, then it moves into a separate section of the courthouse. I don't know what is involved in that separate section, but I have done one of those like broad searches, either A, because one of my children's fathers was incarcerated and I did not know the jail or the cell number. And then B, also one of my absent fathers was in the military. And at that time, I did not know what base. I didn't know what location. And once you get deep enough into co-parenting, when the absent parent knows that you finding them means that there's repercussions for their actions, the actions meaning that they left you with responsibility that should be shared, they are going to get very sneaky. They are not going to tell you where they live. They're going to block you. You're not going to be on their social media. So I say that to say any person out there that knows the relationship is getting rocky or knows, even though I don't want to be an absent parent, more than likely it's heading in this direction. Take pictures now, even if it's a license plate, a driver's license. If the parent has ever gotten a ticket or arrested, all of that is public knowledge on your local courthouse's website. All you need is the first and last name. And if we are procreating, the least that we should have is the first and last name. A lot of it is public knowledge. But take pictures now, because once it gets rocky, they're not going to share their information with you. And unfortunately, that's just the beast of the game.
Sandra, can y'all make sure you proofread what you're saying? How do you go about if the non-custodial parent is asking if you, the custodial, you have one over there?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to turn my head this way because I have a live on the This Too Shall Pass podcast Instagram page. Please like, follow, and subscribe. I love you dearly. I have a question over here. She did not say that I can say her name, so I'm just not going to. But the question is, how do you fight for legal bodily rights of doctors or hospitalization when fighting during and for custody? Bodily rights. I don't get that. Maybe she's talking about full custody, how you get full custody. In Florida, it's not even called custody anymore. It's just called parental rights. But how you fight for parental rights, unless you've already gone before a judge, it's assumed that all parental rights fall on the mother if the absent parent's name is not on the birth certificate. If you both are on the birth certificate, it's presumed that you're both the parent, unless you have a judge step in and say who is the parental parent and what are the parental parents' roles. You're both considered the parents if you're both on the birth certificate. But if you're not on if he or she is not on the birth certificate, then it's assumed that, I think it's assumed that the mother, I might be wrong, that the mother has parental rights of the child if the father's line on the birth certificate is absent. But if you are both present in court and you both are on child support, you both are on the child support documentation, there should be a section on there for parental rights. And in that section, we'll go over who has the rights to enroll the child in school, who has the rights or holds the financial responsibility for insurance, for school choices. So that should be in there. If not, you need to file for it and have a more description or detail given to parental rights and responsibilities. But if you're both on the birth certificate, then it would be presumed that both of you are responsible for all medical, hospitalization, and legal rights of the child until a judge separates those into different designated parties.
Someone here said, I thought when you file for child support, it automatically comes out of their check if they're working. I just filed in July and they're giving him the benefit of the doubt to make payments on. So repeat the question because they won't hear me.
Oh, that's so hard. But yes, one of the question was a follower wrote in on live, and her question is, I thought that once you file for child support and it is approved, that it automatically comes out of the absent parent's paycheck if they are working. I just found out that they are giving him the benefit of the doubt to make his payments. Okay. So this goes back to, I love, please take this with I guess the most heartfelt and loving consideration tone that you can, even though I know my tone is very firm. The present parent has to get used to documenting what is going wrong. So if you get an order, this month is September. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This month is September. And say your order is supposed to start in September. He's supposed to pay you $200 a month, the first of every month. In Florida, you have 4 days after that missed payment that the mother can file contempt of court. Again, contempt of court is our tattling piece of paper. It's our drama. It's our way to let the court system know that whatever is documented in our legal packet is not happening. I tattle quick. Why? Because I'll forget. Once my payment is not received, say it's a Monday, by Friday, I've already documented that it's not. I've taken a screenshot of the account to show that no activity has been done on this case, and then I file it. You also have the right to set up an account with your local courthouse electronically. I don't know how that works for every state, but for Florida, you can e-file is what it's called. The E is electronic. You can e-file online. So don't think that, oh my gosh, every time he does something wrong, I got to call off work. I got to go down to the courthouse, or I got to take time out of, working to pay my bills and it's already just me, because that's how I felt as well. Like, damn, it's all falling on me. I got to tattle. I got to find him. I got to file. I got to raise the kids. I got to pay the bills. I got to go to work. If you can help yourself out, create an electronic account. If your courthouse offers that, in 4 days after that absent parent has not paid their child support, contempt of court. Because what the judge or the court system is telling you, that benefit of the doubt is in every state. They are not going to treat your child support case like it's back payments on the IRS. Back payments on the IRS, yes, they're going to pull it. It's called garnishment of wages. They're going to garnish their wages right off the bat because they did not pay their back taxes. But even with back taxes, there is a window. They're not going to pull it the next day. They usually let you trap yourself. They give you time to make the issue worse, to get in a bigger hole. So then when they pull it from their check, there's no way that you can say, oh, I wasn't given enough time. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I just switched banks. Or, oh, my job don't do direct deposit. I actually pick up my check from the warehouse on Fridays. Take notes. Document what is going on in all of your court sessions so that when you step back up in front of that judge, you have your cards together, you know what was said, and you know the last lie that he told. Great. He missed his child support payment. You should already be down there in the courthouse filing contempt of court. Why? That puts him on notice. Why? That's his benefit of the doubt. Why? That shows a pattern. I have an absent father right now for one of my kids that is incarcerated, but it didn't happen the first time. I didn't get to go in there and say, hey, he didn't pay his child support, arrest him. No, I waited months until a judge said enough is enough. They're going to get fed up. They're going to get tired of seeing your name on their docket. One thing about me, baby, I'm going to keep my kids and my priorities in front of your face. Your rights and your children's rights are meant to be fought for. But if you don't understand and stay in front of their face, yeah, they're going to go on to the next mom that is there, that is willing to file, that is in their face. So if he's missed his payment, file contempt of court. And the next time he misses it, file contempt of court. For me in Florida, because I'm not an attorney, it usually takes 3 missed payments before the judge will ask you, what are your repercussions that you want for your contempt of court hearing? And on the back of the ones in Florida, it gives you little check boxes. You can check what you want your consequence to be. There is a box on the Florida packets after the contempt of court. It's 2 pages. The second page will ask you about how do you want the court to remedy this situation for you? And I will check garnishment of wages. Garnishment of wages is when you come back to court. The judge will then have him write down where he works, his employer, and his routing and bank account number. And when you get that form, you're going to get a copy. When you get that copy, I do the most, but you don't have to. But I like to be, I like my kids to be supported by both parents. Call that what you want. But when we were in the bed, no one was complaining. So no one should be complaining now while they're being raised. I take a picture of that wage garnishment paperwork and I call the employer the next business day in the morning. I call, and then every employer's line says, press 1 for English, 2 for Spanish, 3 for HR, press 3. And when Susan answers in HR, let her know. Hi, Susan, my name is Ariel Barner. I have an income withholding garnishment paper from the downtown county clerk house. How can I get this paperwork to you? She will send you her fax number, her email. Why? Because it is illegal for them not to garnish wages that are signed by a judge. So don't wait for the courthouse to do it. Will the courthouse reach out to your absent parent's job? Yes, but with time. When you left that judge's face, that judge saw 8 other families after you. And that judge still deserves to go home, walk her dog, feed her kids, and take a bath. So sometimes your stuff is sitting on the judge's judicial assistant's desk for 6 months. But you know what doesn't wait 6 months? The copy. Once you leave the courtroom, go down to whatever floor in your courthouse is for copies and transcripts of your court session. For the Orange County Courthouse, it's $2. I go down to the 3rd floor. I give them my court date, my case number, the time I had my court case, the judge I had. I pay my $2 and I sit. Then eventually someone's going to come out to me with copies and the signature of the judge. The next morning, when that job answers, I'm on the line. 3 for HR. I speak to Susan. I fax her my paperwork, and I'm getting my child support that I'm due the next pay cycle. And then once their wages are garnished, you will get paid every time the absent parent gets paid. So they get paid weekly, you'll get paid weekly. They get paid biweekly, you'll get paid biweekly. They get paid monthly, you'll be paid that way. So use your phone, talk to HR, send them your judge's paper once you get your garnishment forms, because the courthouse will do it, but they'll do it when they get to it. We just have to be okay with knowing we're not the only people that need help, and we're not the only people waiting in line. But put yourself and your kids in the best position that you can and ask for help. One of the questions was, I'm scared to file for contempt because the judge did not order the absent parent to reimburse me for attorney's fees. So now she's having to pay attorney's fees, meaning that she doesn't want to step back in the courtroom until she gets her debt settled. And I can respect that. I understand it. That is a lot. Attorney's fees, if the judge did not make him pay it, then yes, unfortunately, that is on you, between you and your attorney. You saying that you have not received any payments since then, and she said it's been a year. Payments, are you meaning child support payments were you going to use the child support payments to pay back your attorney? I don't care where your money goes. I'm just asking if that's what you were waiting for. So you're scared to go back out there because it'll cost more money. This is the best advice I can give you. 2 things. 1, let me help you with my independent DIY Florida child support course that is coming out soon. Or B, if you're saying you don't have the money, then you probably don't have the money. Go back to your courthouse, still file for contempt. Don't let it go too long, because if you're saying it's been a year, the courthouse does not keep your case open for 18 years just because your child is alive in Florida, because I'm not an attorney. This might also work in your state as well. In Florida, if you have no action on your case, action meaning nothing's been filed, no contempts have been filed, no motions have been filed, the judge hasn't rescheduled the hearing, that's considered a dormant case, and dormant cases get closed. Why would closed matter? Closed matters because if it's closed, you cannot file contempt on a closed case. To reopen a closed case in Florida could be $300 to reopen it. Stay in front of your judges' faces. This is what I'm saying. And they're not closing it because your child is over the age of 18. They're closing it because they have so many people coming in. There's so many people coming in. I have the kid. I don't have the kid. Alimony, divorce, child support, all that trickles through family law. They cannot possibly keep all of those cases open on all of the judge's documents. It's too much. And we have to think of it as too much. So because I know it's too much, I keep my cases open. I file contempt when things go wrong. I do not wait. I do not let my cases go dormant so I don't have to reopen them. I know my children's fathers, and you probably know yours, and they're going to mess up way before a year. So why have you not filed? So if you're saying it's because of money, either I can help you in my DIY case that is coming out, or in Florida, because I'm not an attorney, there is something called indigency. See if you qualify for indigency, which is a fancy legal jargon to say you don't make enough money, low income. Go in there, give them your case number. More than likely, your case is closed. Ask them, do you guys do indigency forms here? Indigency is going to be a long piece of paper, which is in Florida. It has all these lines on it. How much do you make? Where do you work? How often are you paid? What are your bills? I tell the truth. I'm one parent to 5 kids. I tell the truth. I qualify every time because of the size of my household. But if you are low income, don't be ashamed to say that you are low income. And if you are, indigency means that all of your paperwork that you file on your case is free. But you will still need my course to know what to file and what to fill out. But the term is indigency. Go back to your courthouse. Ask them if your case is still open. Ask them if you can apply for indigency, which means if you file contempt of court on your own without an attorney, it is free. I hope that helps. How do you hold it together while trying to get the dad to pay child support and to show up? Okay. Your demeanor and your attitude does matter. And I don't want to overlook the trauma and the anger that being an absent parent does bring out. It does bring out the worst in you. I've been downright ugly, mean, belligerent, cursing, yelling. I've done the works. So I can tell you hindsight looking back doesn't get me anywhere. So I think with time, I learned that it didn't get me anywhere. This isn't something you learn up front. So I don't want to tell you that your demeanor, your attitude is holding you back. Girl, you should be better. Let it rush off your shoulder that he left you with your kids. Girl, it don't matter. God got you. No, it is hurtful. It is degrading. It makes you feel unseen. You feel invisible. I'm not going to ever overlook that and say, oh, that's fine. You got it, girl. Thumbs up. No, it's hurtful. I would say try your best to process your emotions the best way you can. I would say with time, I know that's a nasty word, with time, it will not bother you as much. And I guess I had to find the beauty in the day to day. I had to find the grace and the beauty. And hey, Ariel, it is just you with 5 kids. We look bad in public. We look bad online. We look bad anywhere anyone saw us. We were struggling. It was just me. And one time they were all super small, 7 and under. Owen wasn't here. They were all small. You have to hold your head up high and know you're doing the right thing. You have to hold your head up high and know, hey, yes, the absent parent left, but at the end of the day, these are still your kids. Would you still feel ashamed if the absent parent, quote unquote, died? Why do widows get looked at in a better light than single moms? Why? They're both gone. They're both gone. So it's just like, hold your head up high, know you're doing the best that you can, find the beauty in the mundane and take one day at a time. Not showing up and not paying is not okay. Again, we have to get used to documenting and not just crying. Document it, take proof that they're not coming. Proof can just be, didn't come, didn't show up. I don't care if it's the recording off your Ring camera. Didn't come, didn't show up. Child support is easier to track if they didn't pay because it'll show on your account payment missed or no payment received. And that's something easy to print out. When it comes to visitation, it is going to be word of mouth. So say your visitations are on Saturday. Send a text. Hey, John is looking forward to seeing you today at 1:00. Let me know your ETA. ? Send. If they never respond, slide your little text box over, show the date, the time, screenshot. Never responded, didn't show up, didn't pay child support. Get used to documenting. I know we're sad. I know we're upset. I know we're doing it by ourselves. We also got to be pissed and smart. Stop letting your emotions take control of you because they know it. They see it. They know they left you with that kid. You don't have to keep calling and let them know, oh, Johnny's here and we don't have bread. I understand you. But the people that leave are dicks. They know where they left you. They know their kid is there and they're okay with not helping you. We need to be okay for fighting for our rights and holding, for me, their balls to the walls when it comes to accountability. And I don't feel sorry for it. So I know all of my absent parents' fathers probably think I am the Antichrist, and that's okay. I am going to continuously and forever until my children are old, hold your son's balls to the walls for kids that I am raising on my own. And it is what it is. And I hope all of you in my page helps you be a little bit more confident in doing that as well. Okay. I'm going to do one more from this one and then probably one more from my regular page. I'm not going to read her name. She didn't say that I could. The question is, if the mother has a restraining order on the father, how will that impact the visitation for the child? Ding, 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 right up my alley. I had domestic violence. Well, I have a domestic violence case that does result in 3 children. So there's 3 children attached to a domestic violence case. This is, again, all of it's sensitive, but this is also hard to hear. If your domestic violence case is only between you and the father, meaning in Florida, again, because I'm not an attorney, in Florida, if the domestic violence has only happened between you and the absent parent, that does not correlate to the child. Say that again. If the domestic violence between you and your partner was just between you and your partner, that does not coincide with the children, which means, like the other lady said, the courts are still going to give that abusive asshole privileges to your child. It's how it goes. If the domestic violence has never been reported, seen, bruises, you didn't call the police and it happened, and it didn't happen with your child, documented on a police record, that means it did not happen to your child. It only happened to you. Then the restraining order is only between you and your partner, which means your children still have a right to a visitation with the absent parent. Again, this is hard to say until it happens to your kids. So thankfully for me, my children were not involved in my domestic violence. It was just me and my partner. So in Florida law, again, because I am not an attorney, the children were still allotted to have visitation with their father. In Florida, it's called supervised visits. We did them in a location that was close to the Orange County Courthouse, which is in my area. In Florida, it is not free, but it was not expensive. It was $7 a visit. The mother has to pay $7 per child, and the father has to pay $7 per child. The parent that is doing the visitation, so the parent that is the absent parent, is already inside of the facility. So when I would go there with 2 children at the time, I would check in by giving them my first and last name, my ID, and my case number. Someone would look it up. And then someone would come out to me and tell me either, yes, the absent father is present and visitation is going to happen. And I've gone there before and they said, no, the absent parent did not show up. So again, like I told you, visitation does not come with a consequence. The only consequence for canceling visitation is increased child support. It's not jail time. So the days he didn't show up to visitation, you don't get a phone call because you have a restraining order and your court order is for you to show up. So don't ever let the absent parent text you and say, hey, I'm not coming to visitation. Still go. Why? Because it's documented that you showed up. Why? It's showing that you're not a gatekeeping parent. Why? It shows that you care on the well-being of your child and putting the child first. That's all the court is going to care about. So you showing up, yes, is it a waste of your gas? Yes, is it a waste of your time? Still go. The court will document that the mother showed up. The court will document that the father did show up. And guess what? That's one thing you didn't have to document and let the judge know. Because again, we're going off of giving them the benefit of the doubt. They have to ruin the benefit for there to be doubt. So if you want that, you have to follow through. I would show up. He was not there. I would collect my small children and we would go to McDonald's or the park and we would do something else. But there is supervised visits. Even if the judge does not approve you, again, in Florida, because I'm not an attorney, in Florida, if the judge does not grant you supervised visits, you can still do supervised exchanges in Florida because I'm not an attorney. All of our local police stations have drop-off areas for issues of domestic violence. You don't have to get a court order. You don't have to ask permission. They're drop-off locations for co-parenting exchanges, which means you exchange your children from your car to the other person's car on camera in front of the police station. It's documented. It shows the time, who showed up on time, who didn't, who was there, and it's in a safe environment. I guarantee you, or I hope, nothing happens in front of a police station. They are dumb, but they're usually not that dumb. So I would contest the courts if you have child support for supervised visits. If you don't get it in your session, ask. In your court setting, you have to ask. You have to open your mouth. You can't think that the courtroom is going to do what's best for you and your children. That is your job as the parent to do what's best for you and your child. In that session, if you are denied supervised visits, ask. Your Honor, can I ask one question before we end? He or she is going to say yes. Then you say, is there any location in our area that does safe family exchanges for co-parenting? In Orlando, Florida, because I'm not an attorney, that is in every local police station. They have safe drop-off exchanges for domestic violence that involved in co-parenting. One more, Carla.
One more.
I hope that was helpful. I am sorry. Hey, Paola. Hey, girl. Hey, I'm going to say your name because we're cool like that. Her question was, why does it take so long for there to be consequences for the absent parent? So I'm guessing this would be in any regard, visitation, time sharing, and child support. I guess it takes so long and it's unfortunate. Again, I say this with the most compassion. I think I'm a little harder in my tone only because I've gone through it. I don't know why God made this my walk, but here I am for you. If I had to answer that honestly, I would say because it's civil and not criminal. It's a civil crime. You're not getting burglarized. You're not beaten. You're not thankfully shot or missing your home. It's a civil matter. Even the cops usually don't jump into civil matters. They're trying to be criminal. 911 is criminal. Ambulance is criminal. Like someone's dying. Someone needs help. No one rushes because I want to sue Walgreens because I didn't like the mascara. Those are civil issues. Those are civil lawsuits. So family court, unless it is domestic battery, domestic violence, is civil. In civil takes time. It is not a rush to judgment in civil. It's not, you're never going to go to your child support hearing and there's a jury sitting there to decide who's the better parent, who's innocent or guilty. It's not criminal. Civil is a lot slower, but civil can be quick and civil can be swift if you document your stuff and you file on time. Do not wait a year to file and then give them a year worth of things that the father didn't do because they're going to say, well, you could came in 3 months ago. I've had judges tell me to go home. I've had judges whisper to me, you did a really good job, but you missed page 4. Or please come back when something happens. Or I've had judges tell me, Ariel, he's only missed 2. We got to wait for the 3rd one. You know what? Instead of me getting frustrated, feeling small, feeling overlooked, and letting him miss the next 6, when he missed that next one, I was in that judge's face. Why? She remembered what she said to me. She remembered my case, and I knew it wasn't going to take long for him to mess up. Your best friend in family court situations is going to be documentation. Family law is civil, but civil can be swift if you stay on top of your documents. Again, in Florida, because I'm not an attorney, I'm going to get that put on a shirt. So I have like keep saying
I'm not an attorney.
Just going to jiggle my shirt that says in Florida because I'm not an attorney. There are 2 different ways in Florida you can file for child support. And it's just child support. It's not visitation. Just so you know that, because they gave my sister the run. I love my sister dearly, but I'm helping her nail his ass to the wall because I'm tired. Okay? 2 different situations. You can either file for child support through your local courthouse, or in Florida, something called the Department of Children and Families, DCF, Department of Children and Families. It does have different acronyms and a different name if you are not in Florida. I know that for sure. But wherever you would get food stamps, Medicaid, WIC, they would know what option you have to file that's not the courthouse. And whatever that option is that's not the courthouse is similar to Florida's DCF, which is Department of Children and Families. If you file your case on your own, which is what I am going to help all of you do by yourself without paying thousands of dollars an hour to an attorney to say who should pick up Timmy on Saturday. We're not fighting we're not like going to prison. Again, this is civil. Civil should be less complicated, and we should be able to handle our rights and the rights of our child without paying someone to do so like we're going to prison, because they're not. Even if they get arrested, they're going to the local jail where the people go if they ran a red light ticket. So Department of Children and Families will do all of the work for you. They will do all of the lab work for you. They will even give you a Department of Revenue attorney to go with you to court. But they will do it at their own discretion. They will help you how they see fit. And because the services are free, you don't have to understand what's going on. You don't have to read the legislations or the motions or the contempt papers. You never have to show up to court. They file all of it for you. Google how many people in your state have food stamps with dependents. When you get that number, that is usually the same correlation of people that are on child support orders through the Department of Revenue. So your wait time is extensive. There is no rush. You are 1 in a million, and you have to be okay with that because they're doing it for free. So if you want your case to have some motion, if you want your case to get in front of the judge, if you want your kids to be helped now, not when they're in college, you have to put your foot down and represent yourself. You have to put your foot down and grab your case on your own, read it, understand it, and get fluid with what the state and the absent parent owe you, and fight for your rights. If not, you can let someone do it for free, but it will be at their discretion. It's the difference in getting a highball attorney and a public defender. Do you think those public defenders are overworked, young, unqualified? They get to you when they can? Yes, but guess what? It's free. You know, it's not free the time that you're pouring into your child. You know, it's not free all of your sleepless nights. No, it's not free all the jobs you keep losing because the absent parent doesn't show up and you can't go to work because Timmy is sick. That's what's not free. So if we have so much time to scroll and to do mindless things, I urge you to take some time from my course that is coming out, or on your own if you need it now, because I'm coming. But if you need to do it now, Google it. Learn your rights, learn your child's rights, and take that step. I'm here to help you along the way. I feel like this is going to be my walk. And I want to help you because there's a lot of self-worth. There's a lot of understanding. There's a lot of respect that I feel like you lose when you are a single mom. I feel like we do feel overlooked. We feel small. We feel forgotten at first. But one thing I don't feel, baby, is small. I don't feel like I don't have a voice, and I don't feel like I have control over my life or my children's, because I took that step to understand what is free to me per the Constitution, which is child support, which is visitation, which is custody, which is your rights. I love you guys. And this is another episode on This Too Shall Pass. My name is Ariel. Please follow us on the Instagram page, which is the This Too Shall Pass pod, or me personally, the _Ariel B on Instagram. We do have a child support case course coming soon, and I hope to have your questions filled in the comments. Give us a follow if this was helpful to you or to anyone else. I will see you soon, and I love you. I mean it. Take care. Bye.